Part 2. Verdant Wind. Guardian Moon. The Alliance Leader's Ambitions. Claiming the monastery at Garreg Mach as its home base, the Alliance army joins forces with the Knights of Seiros. Together, they begin to take up arms against the Adrestian Empire.
Good work, Hilda. You didn't do much manual labor, but you managed to rope the knights into helping us restore the monastery.
Thanks, Claude. But all I did was piggyback on your scheme. I saw your eyes telling me to make some magic happen.
Thank you so much for your help with the restoration.
Oh, please, it was nothing. We're just doing our part as former students.
I'm told you even routed the bandits. That job should have fallen to us. I'm sorry for the trouble.
Hey, don't think twice about it. We're all allies in the resistance against the Empire, right?
The Church is at war with the Empire, but let's be realistic. Wouldn't it be better for the Alliance to eventually submit?
The way I see it, the Emperor wants to take over all of Fodlan and destroy the existing order of the world. I can't see her allowing the Alliance to continue to exist. We're in this just as deeply as you are. Actually, we were hoping to use this place as a base. The Empire begs to be meddled with, and we're first in line.
What? Why would you want to make your base here of all places?
Garreg Mach is situated in the center of Fodlan, both geographically and spiritually. We want to secure this location while the Empire is still overlooking it.
I see. The Empire doesn't see this place as important at the moment because it's far from the front lines.
But if we simply decide that it's ours to occupy, that does nothing to inspire the hearts and minds of the people of Fodlan. Luckily, good old Teach has finally returned to us. If the Professor Rhea entrusted with the Sword of the Creator fights at our side, well now, that's a just cause anyone could get behind. What's more, here we are, working alongside the legendary Knights of Seiros. It smacks of divine providence, doesn't it? Can you feel it?
I have heard what you have to say, Claude. And you, Professor? Where do you stand? On our own, we lack sufficient military strength. But with the help of the Alliance, the Archbishop said if anything should happen to her, that we should entrust the affairs of the Church to you. If you intend to fight alongside the Alliance, then I will follow you as well. Is that acceptable, Claude?
Of course. I can't think of anything more reassuring than having both Teach and the Knights on our side. Together, we'll stop the Emperor and her reckless ambitions.
Apologies for bothering you so late. I just really wanted to speak with you. Thank you. You see, I've been feeling conflicted about my future. It may seem petty to worry about such things in the middle of a war like this. This isn't something I open up about with many people. Feeling such a sense of inner turmoil while a war rages on, and others are fighting with all they have, well, it feels a little selfish. The truth is, I've wanted to be a knight ever since I was a small child. Not just any knight, like one you might find serving within the castle guard, but a true knight, one serving a master. However, my father has always had different plans for me. He wants me to marry for the benefit of the Galatea family. Defying my father feels wrong. I've seen how he's struggled over the years. His burden has always been far greater than any I've had to bear myself. While he fed me extravagant meals, he He subsisted on meager portions and watered-down soups. He never once complained, even though he must have been starving. Knowing his sacrifices, I've never been able to tell him of my dream of becoming a knight. Although ultimately, I find myself betraying his wishes. Now that I've parted ways with my father, there is nothing to stop me from pursuing my dream. But even if I do become a knight, I feel an unease deep within me. I fear I will never escape this guilt I carry, that I have shunned my duty as a noble. To follow both my dream and my duty? I had never considered that as an option. Perhaps there is a way. Even with the academy days long behind us, you're still a professor through and through. Always listening to others' troubles and offering up your wisdom. I really am grateful for all that you do for us, Professor. I hope you'll always be here as a guide to everyone. I know I myself would appreciate that deeply.
Oh, hey there. What are you doing up at this hour? Is that right? I guess the more you have to think about, the harder it is to fall asleep. At times like this, I like to gaze up at the stars to clear my head. I've been that way since I was a kid. Looking up at the big starry sky makes my dreams feel small, which makes it feel like I can actually make them come true. I didn't believe in gods when I was a kid. Maybe that's because the night sky took their place for me. Hey, Teach, will you talk with me a while? I bet you figured this out, but I wasn't born in Fodlan. Where I come from, the people of Fodlan are looked down on as cowards. Technically, that cowardice runs in my veins. On my mother's side, anyway. That's why the people who were around me when I was growing up thought of me as an outsider. But I don't believe the people of Fodlan are cowards. That kind of perspective is just based on ignorance. The person from Fodlan who I know best is my mother. She fell in love with a man from the wrong side of the border and had the guts to leave home to pursue that love. I always threw that in the faces of anyone who tried to make a fool of me. My mother is proof the people of Fodlan aren't all cowards. Just saying that doesn't achieve anything, though. I need to destroy the prejudices that have taken root in my homeland. That's why I came here, to see Fodlan with my own eyes. I thought I might be able to find a new perspective that could help me change things. And what did I find? That the people here view anyone who's an outsider as a beast of sorts. I was shocked. Even though our cultures and beliefs are completely different, our two lands have that much in common. That's when I realized the only way to change things is to bring the whole world together and start anew. That's the dream I've been working toward since I first entered the Officers Academy 5 years ago. To unify the Alliance, and then all of Fodlan, and to bring a new set of values to this new land of mine. After that, I'd expand that vision to the rest of the world, break down the walls, and let a new perspective come rushing in. Start all over. Do you think that's just a crazy pipe dream, or a brilliant ambition? Not too long ago, I would have said it was too much for me to accomplish on my own. But that's not how I feel anymore. And that's because I have you on my side now. Lately, I've spent a lot of time thinking about how I wouldn't have made it this far without you. You and me, Teach, we can go anywhere. Do anything. I hope that you always walk in step with me. At least, until the day comes when we can look out at the peaceful world we've built. Together.
Thank you.
have a moment, Professor? I need to speak with you. Thank you so much. This is what I wanted to address. This letter from my adoptive father just arrived. Oh, have I not mentioned him? He's the reason I first came to the Officers' Academy. He's also the one who dragged me from the church where I was living, just so he could use my crest. My crest does not yet belong to a house, so he plans to use it as leverage to marry into the nobility. He's a very greedy man who was a roving merchant before adopting me, but now he's in the capital. This letter says that he's finally arranged to marry me off to a wealthy noble. I know he's just thinking of himself, but can't he see that this isn't a priority when we're at war? I don't know what to do about this proposal. I can't see any way around it, so I fear that I must. I just don't want to let go of the life that I've made for myself. I know it's not what my heart wants, but I don't have the strength to say no. I believe I've mentioned this before, but I want to work in service of the church. Well, I suppose it doesn't necessarily have to be the church, but I want to help those in need. If I were to marry a noble, I think it would be difficult to realize that dream. It's just, I've always allowed myself to follow the whims of those above me. I convinced myself that everything in life was at the will of the goddess. I was blind to reality. I believed it was her will to both pull me from the church and guide me to the Officers' Academy. The decision to enter this war was the first time I acted of my own free will. My adoptive father opposed this decision, but I somehow managed to convince him. Still, I couldn't free myself of him completely. This letter is proof of that. It's not that I'm scared of him, but there is something that worries me. I knew you'd understand, Professor. I've sat down to write a reply several times, but I can't muster up the courage or the words. I was hoping you could provide me with the encouragement I need. If I don't, he'll go ahead with the arrangement. I suppose I must aim toward cutting him out of my life completely. Okay. I think that may have been just the push I was looking for. I'll tell him the truth, that I found a life worth pursuing, and I must decline the proposal. Maybe I should tell him I've fallen for someone else. Why, it's you, Professor. Isn't that obvious? I'm just teasing. Now I'm off to write this letter and stand my ground. Thank you for your encouragement.
I feel like I'm drowning in responsibilities. Claude, take my mind off it all. Regale me with another of your weird childhood stories.
Okay, then. How about an old story from a foreign land that my dad told me when I was a kid? Once upon a time, there was a white camel that got separated from his herd.
I'm so happy for that white camel. I really thought he was gonna die.
Was that story really worth bawling your eyes out over?
It was wonderful. Don't you know how moving that story is?
You know, I never thought much of it until today. But seeing you bawling like that, I do appreciate it a little more now.
What's that mean?
Well, you're always fake crying, aren't you? Getting all misty-eyed to make people think you're a delicate flower?
What? You're awful. I only cry when I'm sad.
Claim what you like, but I can spot real tears from fake tears any day of the week. Fess up.
If you understand me so well, maybe it's because you're no different.
How's that?
When you smile or laugh, it's not sincere. I can tell. I've only seen you genuinely smile a handful of times. Like when you're talking to the professor.
Wow, good one, Hilda. You hit me right in the gut. I guess you're right. I'm not so different from you in that way. But how did you come to realize that? Have you been watching me that closely?
I'm afraid so. My eyes seem to wander toward you of their own accord. What? Hold on. Forget I said that. I didn't say that.
Nope, no can do. Forgetting isn't something this crafty brain of mine is capable of. Besides, my eyes have a tendency to wander in your direction too. How else do you think I found out about your fake crying?
Huh? What are you getting at?
Say, Hilda, once everything's settled down, do you want to come meet my parents? I mean, don't get the wrong idea, you just seem interested in my family. Besides, you've opened up to me quite a bit, but I still haven't let you in on my own secrets. If you meet my parents, I think you'll understand, though it might come as a bit of a surprise.
Your family? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious.
Well then, if neither of us changes our minds before the opportunity presents itself, let's agree to go visit my home together.
Although, if it's a long journey, my brother might not be too happy.
True, that might be a tough nut to crack. As tough as Fodlan's locket.
Balthus, do you have a moment?
Well, well, it's the little lady of House Ordelia. What can I do for you?
You piqued my interest when you spoke about my parents coming to your rescue.
Oh, right. Forgot I let that slip. After I fled my home, I became something of a vagrant, getting into fights, borrowing money I couldn't pay back. The works.
Oh, I know all about it. You were quite the vagabond.
Wherever I went, I was treated like trash. Securing enough food to live on got harder and harder. It became clear that I wasn't welcome in Alliance territory, so I decided to head over to the Empire. My big mistake was stopping by the Great Bridge of Murden on the way. Just my luck, some jerk of a minor lord north of the bridge was on a hunt for the bounty on my head.
Oh, that's awful.
Would have been fine if I'd been alone, but innocent folks were around. Didn't want to endanger them. That's when I turned tail. I ran until I couldn't run another step, and found myself in Ordelia territory. I knew Count Ordelia from when I was still with my family's house, so it seemed like a decent option. I was hoping our history would be enough to secure a place of sanctuary, but no such luck.
They refused to take you in?
Yeah, I could tell there was some reason behind it. But they told me to get out as fast as I could.
Ah, I imagine it was when the Empire was meddling with my family. We lived in shackles back then.
Makes sense. Still, I'm grateful. They gave me food and distracted the Empire's cronies so I could escape. I was half dead from starvation, so that meal saved my life. No joke. Your family's the real deal. Just imagine what the Empire would have done to me. I can tell you it wouldn't have been pretty.
I have no doubts. We weren't allowed contact with anyone from the outside. It was strictly forbidden.
I see. Well, that's when I vowed to find a way to repay them. One day I'll do just that.
And when do you intend to carry out this vow of yours? In due honesty, I don't see you as someone capable of carrying out vows right now, or even keeping your things together.
Can't argue with that. It'll take me a while to repay that debt, but I will. Just you wait and see.
It's decided. This meat is the best meat. Although the other inn has pretty great offerings as well.
Ah, if it isn't Ingrid. What are you up to in a place like this?
Yuri, I could ask you the same.
I'm just out to send a little money to my family. Gotta help however I can, you know?
Oh, that's very nice of you. Forgive my tone earlier. You truly set a noble example.
Right. Anyhow, looked like I interrupted you. You nearly choked on that wad of meat you were gnawing on.
Right. That is true, I suppose. You know,
What is it you're mumbling about?
Nothing. Anyway, you once worked for House Rowe, didn't you? 9 years ago, when I visited Count Rowe at his castle, I swore I saw you by his side.
Quite the sharp memory you have. You aren't mistaken. I was staying there then, yes. I had been adopted by the Count.
Oh? Come to think of it, I thought I'd heard something like that. That the Count had adopted a distant relative of his. A young man whose future was both bright and promising. So, that was you?
Yep. Although now, I'm nothing more than a distant stranger to him. Our ties were severed a while ago. He helped me out by getting me into the academy. It wasn't long after that that we started having all sorts of disagreements. What the hell were you doing visiting House Row anyhow?
Yes, that. How to put it? It was to help clean up after a friend.
Ah, you speak of Sylvain. That must have been quite the mess you were cleaning up. Back to the point. What are you doing out here? Do you frequent this area often?
Mind your business, won't you? I just like to go for walks, get fresh air, that sort of thing.
Easy now. I'm not interrogating you. Really, I just wanted to warn you that it isn't so safe here in the evenings. You'll want to be on your guard.
I thank you for your concern, but I assure you I can handle myself.
Noted. Oh yeah, the innkeeper also wanted me to thank you. He wanted to thank you for being such an enthusiast for the food he sells. Seemed pretty happy about it.
Is that so? How very... Well, I'd better be off.
Seems she doesn't want anyone seeing her with a face full of food. Too late.
Edelgard is controlling the Empire. She is putting the pressure on the Kingdom in alliance. Empire and religion are at open war. It will be difficult for us at first, but corrupt nobles are many. That means the common people will rebel and be joining our side. With you, Professor, the battle tides will turn. I have certainty.
I'm the heir of House Gautier, and I'm fighting alongside a bunch of Alliance people? I can just imagine my father's face contorted in anger, and the delightful words he must have used to describe me. I don't know how staying and fighting for Fargus would have helped. Sorry, Professor. I don't regret my decisions. I'm just thinking out loud. And I'm hoping I haven't made a big mistake.
Professor! Hey, Professor, something's been bothering me. Remember that suspicious guy I chased after back when I was a student? A knight scolded me for it, but at the time I really thought I was doing the right thing. Now that I've had more experience on the battlefield, though...
I've been looking for you. There isn't much time, so I'll keep this brief. The knights encountered a band of brigands while out marching. It was hard fought, but we prevailed. Our soldiers are highly trained, but the enemy was formidable, and we weren't expecting combat. There were a number of casualties among our troops. Much appreciated, but there's a reason I need to bring this to your attention. Do you recall the incident 5 years ago involving a suspicious individual in Garreg Mach? These brigands all bore the same scorpion tattoo that we found on the arm of that man.
Oh no.
I thought that might be of interest to you. Don't mention it. If you'll excuse me, I need to get back to my duties.
Heck of a coincidence, right? As soon as I mention that suspicious guy, this happens. But some of the knights died in combat. They died because of what I did 5 years ago. This is my fault. If I'd stayed quiet and tracked the guy down like you said, we would have stopped those brigands sooner, and I wouldn't have blood on my hands. It's no use trying to comfort me. You know I'm right. Just say it. Those poor knights. It's all my fault.
Okay.
Hey there, my friend. It's funny how the monastery was once in ruins, but now it's downright bustling. Thanks to a little promise 5 years ago, our buddies have all gathered, and even the knights have returned. It's like we were all just waiting for you to awaken. And now, we're all going to band together against the Imperial Army. You should go and talk to everyone if you can. There may be some who are still on the fence.
Professor, I have a proposal. Why not go beyond the Knights of Seiros? Instead, uniting with allies from all across Fodlan to fight for our cause. Looking back, it would have been best to ally with the Kingdom and join forces against the Empire. But now the Kingdom is not exactly, well...
Hey, Professor! You won't believe what happened. I figured I couldn't go back to the Empire after Garreg Mach fell, so I started drifting across the Kingdom in Alliance. Then, I just happened to run into our old class, so we came back to the monastery together.
Members of the Knights tell me that Father left their ranks 5 years ago. They say he announced he was returning to the Kingdom, but nobody's heard from him since. I haven't received word that he went back home to Mother. Where could he be? Where are you, Father?
Fighting alongside you and everyone else is a dream come true, Professor. And don't worry about my little sis. Right now, she's back home helping out with the family business. I kind of figured I was going to be stuck going back and taking over for her. But thanks to you and Claude, I get to work on my dream of becoming a proper knight.
Professor, it's not just for my village that I'm fighting alongside you here, you know. It's also that Captain Gerald asked me, his first and greatest apprentice, to look out for you. Of course, it wouldn't be enough just to keep you alive. It's my duty to make sure you win, too. So do your best, Professor, and count on me to watch your back.
A country with no king has no future. That's why I made my way here. Professor, don't let me down. You'll understand soon enough.
Professor!
Professor, along with everyone from our old class. It's like we've gone back in time. When I think that I'll be around you again, all of my sorrows just drift away. Yes. I'll at least try not to hold anyone back. Let's work together for the common good, like we did 5 years ago.
Really?
At last, I return to my domain, my lonely paradise, my realm of exquisite solitude. Huh? Professor? Is that you? You didn't hear that just now, did you? Oh, forget you heard anything!
I'm pretty headstrong, but Claude could give me a run for my money. I mean, he's dragged the Knights into this. You ought to be careful, Professor. I wonder if you've got a hidden headstrong side. You must be hiding it really well, though. Excuse me, could you do me a favor? Excuse me, could you do me a favor? Thanks so much. You're a sweetheart. I'm pretty headstrong, but... You're sweet, thanks. Thanks so much. You're a sweetheart.
Professor? The promise was made 5 years ago, but I must say I'm rather impressed by how many of us managed to make it. Personally, I only showed up because I hope to see you again, Professor. I've been with my family in the Empire until recently. I admit to feeling a little guilty betraying Her Majesty, but only a little. Now that we're all together again, I suppose the fighting will begin soon.
I have lost my dominion. My nobility may seem like nothing more than a title, but I will never lose my noble heart. I will stop Edelgard, even if it costs me my life. I have turned my blade against her now. I cannot go back on that decision. Professor, do you think I chose the wrong path? You are right.
Do you have time for a request?
Professor! Oh my, it's so good to see you. These days, so many old friends seem to be disappearing. But you're here. It's incredible to see you again after 5 years. I have a feeling your name will go down in history.
You've done me a great service.
Really now? There's unrest. I hope things. Hey, how about a favor?
Got a favor to ask.
Me, dear goddess.
Okay. Oh, good. Thanks.
Professor, I have written to my father to signal my intention to remain here. Not that I require his approval to do so. There is not much for me to gain by returning to Alliance territory now. But by staying, I will be able to influence the course of events directly on the field of battle. We will not be friends, but I will cooperate with him as much as is necessary to secure victory.
Hey, I could use a hand.
I need a favor.
Hey, shady lady. I see you're working into the wee hours.
I have asked you before not to refer to me that way.
Right, whatever, sorry. Anyway, what kind of bizarre spells are you weaving?
An excellent question. It's a brand of spellcraft many have dreamed of, but none have achieved. A revolution in magical theory.
Revolutionary spellwork, huh?
Steel yourself for this. The working transforms leather boots into licorice! The old serviceable shape with a new, sweeter taste.
Huh. That's certainly something. I'm sure you'll ravage the economy with this one. So, why boots precisely?
I was inspired by your suggestion that licking the nobility's boots would fulfill my dream. I went to my chambers to discreetly taste my own boots. They were less appetizing than I had hoped. The thought of licking boots day in and day out was revolting, but then I thought, what if? Tonguing licorice boots rather than leather ones would make the whole ordeal much more palatable. This is no run-of-the-mill penny ante black magic. This is something new. Black licorice magic. I could lick the boots of 100 nobles if they all tasted so scrumptious as licorice.
Are you some kind of damn fool?
The common mind often has difficulty distinguishing between genius and idiocy. You set me the challenge of licking boots, and I would say that I have risen to it ably.
Correct. I told you to do that. But I think you took what I said just a bit too literally.
Then how did you mean it? Does the licking not count if the liquor enjoys it?
It's mostly something you do by way of acting subservient. I'd even lick the mud from your boots, my lord. Get it?
What? Are there nobles so depraved that they would take satisfaction in such a thing?
There sure are. I've licked a boot or three in my day.
Indeed? Oh, did it not turn your stomach?
Well, of course it did. There's hardly any dignity in bootlicking. Talking to you is truly entertaining. You're a special kind of strange. I've known many a noble in my life, but none like you. I was just dealing with a bunch of them, so the difference seems especially stark. Though, I guess you're not technically a noble at this point, are you?
You were dealing with nobles in the dead of night? Wait, what? Did you just call me strange?
Oof, I'm exhausted. Better go hit the sack. Don't work too hard, milady.
I did not give you leave to go! Ugh, his rudeness knows no bounds. But I'll have my revenge. Perhaps by exposing his business with these nobles. He'll rue the day he loosened his tongue in front of me.
Professor!
Hey you, listen up. I've got something to report. It's you. You're still alive. It's been 5 whole years, hasn't it? Time flies when you're standing guard. That's right, I've been here the whole time. Day in and day out. Not like I have anywhere else to be. Looks like the Knights of Saros have returned. Wonder if Mr. Backup is back too.
Oh, you have the look of someone relieved to see me. Before you ask, yes, my superior spellcraft is yours. It's your reward for waiting so patiently for me. Your quick acceptance of the truth is gratifying. But my assistance has a price. I expect you to aid me in fulfilling my dream of restoring House Nouvelle.
These past 5 years have been so chaotic, even the bounty hunters backed off. I kinda miss the chase. I don't have family ties worth fighting for, so these muscles are up for grabs. Use me as you see fit, pal. You're a smart one. Just point me at a problem and I'll smash it up for you. If you're worried my skills have dulled from disuse, think again. I've been fighting thieves to stay sharp. Got a favor to ask.
Chatterbox.
Well, hello. It's been a while, hasn't it? Are you really so surprised to see me here? I flew here just as soon as I heard you were alive. I care more than you may realize. Are you now? I will admit, hearing that does make my heart flutter a bit. So long as our efforts are aligned, I'll happily work alongside you.
You're back finally. I've been waiting for so long. I thought you might have died. But I didn't have anywhere else to go, so I stayed here.
I'll think about forgiving you.
I've been kinda lonely. As you might have noticed, we've lost a few people down here.
Need something? This one? See you again soon.
Chatterbox. I've been kinda lonely. I could use your help.
Why, hello there. now.
Thanks for giving me a hand.
You fought well. You haven't earned my pity. It was meant to be. Too easy. You haven't earned my pity. It was meant to be.
Welcome. This one? Thank you. This one? This one? Thank you. This one? Thank you. This one? Thank you. This one? This one? Thank you. Please come again.
Professor.
Hey there. Is this it? There you go. Come back anytime.
Welcome. Please come again.
Welcome. Will this one do? Many thanks. Will this one do? Many thanks. Come back soon.
Hey there. Come back anytime. Hello there.
This one, yes? I thank you. Return soon, please.
Hey there. Is this it? There you go. Is this it? There you go. Come back anytime.
do you require? Farewell.
Could be useful. I didn't even know I could. Nope. Let's put it to the test. Nope.
You're...
You make brings goodness. Uma. You make the
Professor, that is not...
Professor.
We'd bet.
Indeed.
That wasn't...
I see how this works.
I'm finally...
This'll come in handy.
It's hard to sneak out when the professor is watching.
This is no good.